Serena was once a rising star in the dance world, known for her breathtaking performances and emotional depth on stage. Dance was her life. It gave her purpose and was her primary way of expressing her emotions. From a young age, she found herself entranced by the rhythm of music and the stories she could tell with her body. Her movements were graceful yet powerful, reflecting not only her technical mastery, but also a deep emotional connection to her craft. She was known for her ability to lose herself in a performance, captivating audiences with her raw, authentic expression. Dance was her language when words failed, a means of communicating the complex emotions she carried within. Serena pushed herself to the brink of physical and emotional endurance to perfect her art, often using dance as a refuge from life's difficulties. It was her escape, her sanctuary, and her identity. However, a devastating injury during a critical performance left her with a permanent limitation in her right leg. The injury crushed not only her ability to perform at her peak, but also her spirit. After the injury, Serena's world seemed to stop. Her days, once filled with rehearsals, music, and the disciplined chaos of a dancer's life, became an endless loop of silence and stillness. Every attempt to move brought sharp pain, not just in her body but in her heart. She avoided mirrors because they no longer reflected the vibrant, graceful woman she once was. Instead, they showed a stranger, marked by frustration, sadness, and a leg that wouldn't respond the way it used to. The outside world felt like a judgment she couldn't bear. Former colleagues, unsure of how to approach her, offered platitudes that only deepened her pain. "You'll find something else," they'd say, or worse, "Maybe this was meant to be." The words echoed like accusations, as though she'd failed to protect the one thing that defined her. Serena stopped returning their calls, slowly fading out of the dance community that had once been her second home. Despite encouragement from loved ones, Serena refused to attend dance events or even step into a studio. Her once vibrant apartment, decorated with posters of her favorite performances and a shelf stacked with music records, became a prison. The ballet slippers she couldn't bear to throw away sat abandoned by the door, gathering dust. Her stereo remained untouched, its silence a reminder of the music she could no longer interpret with her body. She buried herself in isolation, unable to reconcile who she was with who she had become. Days bled into nights as Serena lost her sense of time and purpose. She spent hours scrolling through social media, torturing herself by watching videos of other dancers performing, dancers who hadn't been forced to stop, who were still creating magic with every movement. Her jealousy and despair grew until even watching became unbearable. She unfollowed everyone, leaving her feeds empty and her world smaller. The real battle raged inside her. Serena's identity had always been tied to dance. It wasn't just what she did, it was who she was. Now, with her body betraying her, she felt unmoored, as though she'd been stripped of her very essence. She asked herself questions she couldn't answer. Who am I if I can't dance? What's the point of a life without movement? Each question echoed in the hollow space left by her passion. She feared she would never find something as fulfilling, as natural, as essential as the art she had lost. Shame compounded her grief. She felt weak for not getting over it, and guilty for pushing away the people who cared about her. When her mother called, Serena would force a smile into her voice and lie, "I'm fine, just busy." Visits from friends became unbearable. Their pity felt suffocating. They tiptoed around the subject of dance, trying to distract her with casual chatter, but their avoidance only underscored the void she was trying to ignore. Eventually, she stopped letting them in. Her injury was a constant reminder of her fall, not just the physical accident, but the metaphorical one. Every morning she woke up and felt the stiffness in her leg, a dull ache that no amount of physical therapy could fully erase. Walking past her old studio, where she had once been the star pupil, was out of the question. Even the sound of music drifting from an open window could send her spiraling into tears. At night, she would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment her injury occurred. She could still hear the gasp of the audience, the music stopping, the panicked voices of her fellow dancers. She blamed herself for pushing too hard, for not listening to her body when it started to ache weeks before. It was her fault, she told herself, that she had lost everything. Without dance, Serena felt she had no direction. The small, everyday joys she once took for granted, stretching in the morning sun, feeling the rhythm of music pulsing through her, were gone. She avoided parks where children twirled to their own tunes and kept her curtains drawn to shut out the light. Each passing day made her feel more disconnected from who she used to be. The vibrant, confident Serena who once leaped across stages with an infectious smile felt like a ghost. The pain of mourning her old self was too much to bear, so she numbed herself, going through the motions of life without really living. One day, Serena's mother visited unannounced. Finding the apartment dark and cluttered, her mother sat her down and asked gently but firmly, "Is this how you want to live? Hiding from the world?" Serena broke down, tears spilling out as she admitted, "I don't know who I am anymore." Her mother's response was quiet but piercing. "You're still Serena. That hasn't changed. You're more than your legs, more than your dance. You just need to remember who that is." The conversation planted a seed, though it didn't bloom immediately. It was a glimmer of something, hope perhaps, or the faint memory of a spark she thought she had lost. Serena hears about Alara's support group through a flyer posted at her physical therapy clinic. Reluctantly, she decides to attend, though she remains skeptical. In the group, she listens to others sharing their struggles and finds herself moved by their courage. Inspired by their openness, Serena eventually shares her story. Alara's empathy and encouragement resonate with her, and the group becomes a safe space where she begins to explore the emotions she's been suppressing. One evening after a meeting, Alara mentions how she sees healing as an ongoing dance with life, sometimes graceful, sometimes messy. The metaphor strikes a chord with Serena, sparking a realization. Maybe she could still dance, but in a new way. Alara introduces Serena to Mira, the painter who has been using art as a way to process her trauma. Mira's unconventional approach to self-expression inspires Serena to rethink her relationship with dance. Serena begins experimenting with improvisation, dancing in her living room without the pressure of perfection or performance. She starts moving to the music she once loved, discovering a more intimate connection to her body and emotions. Over time, Serena starts incorporating her new style into her daily life. She calls it healing movement, blending stretches, fluid gestures, and even stillness to express her journey. Each session becomes a meditation, helping her process grief, frustration, and hope. Serena proposes the idea of a movement workshop for Alara's upcoming community festival. Though hesitant at first, she's encouraged by Alara and the group to share her rediscovery of dance. At the festival, Serena leads a session where participants of all abilities move together. She teaches them how to express themselves through simple, natural gestures and focuses on the joy of movement rather than technical skill. The workshop becomes one of the most talked about parts of the event, as people find healing in connecting with their bodies. During the workshop, Serena experiences a moment of profound realization. She doesn't need to be on a stage to be a dancer. Dance is part of who she is, not something that can be taken away by injury or circumstance. Emboldened by the success of the workshop, Serena decides to expand her vision. She starts a weekly class in the town for people who want to explore movement as a form of healing. Through this, she becomes a source of inspiration for others, including Lysander, who incorporates music into her sessions, and Mira, who sketches participants mid-movement for an art series on self-expression. Serena's journey comes full circle as she reclaims dance, not as the competitive high-stakes career it once was, but as a deeply personal and communal form of healing. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience, adaptation, and the beauty of rediscovery. In rediscovering her rhythm, Serena helps others find theirs, proving that even after life's most difficult injuries, the dance never truly ends. Hello, readers and listeners. I am humbled that you are continuing with me on this journey of healing and discovery in listening to the Conceal to Heal series, and that you are blessed by the nuggets of inspiration. Rediscovering the rhythm as Serena did in her journey is not just applicable to dance. The journey of rediscovering your rhythm of purpose after any type of traumatic blow is deeply personal and transformative. It is a process that involves healing not just physically, but also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. An injury, whether physical or psychological, can often feel like a disruptive force that derails one's life, and it can become a daunting task, trying to rediscover the rhythm and understand the complexities of how you ended up in that space. Make no bones about it. It will be quite a journey, but a journey ventured in the face of adversity often brings on rediscover aspects of ourselves that we may have overlooked. I have a saying, the blessings are in the discovery, and those very words hold true when we encounter disruptions that cause us to lose our rhythm. Whether it's a hidden talent, a new interest, or a deeper sense of self-awareness, the disruption can force a shift in perspective. I implore you to begin the rediscovery process of finding your rhythm. Love, healing, and blessings. Yvonne Grant Robinson.